This is quite a pleasant little debate between Barry Gardiner and Zia Yousef, and I think this perfectly embodies the modern state of politics, being Zia Yousef trying to explain his position about why stuff is so annoying, and you've got Barry Gardiner having a completely separate conversation about things we would generally mostly all agree with.
Well, apparently now there's concerns that children with special educational needs could be coming into the line of fire, with the Labour Party desperately trying to balance the books. This, Barry Gardiner, you know, Labour Party were asked at the weekend about these EHCPs. Basically, when a child's got additional needs, they have a legal requirement to get support, specialist support within their educational settings. Are these things going to be scrapped?
No, look, let's understand what the experience of parents is. I've got so many parents who are trying to get the correct support for their children, and the current system is failing desperately. We want to back families. We want to make sure that kids have that early support, which means that later on, which is usually when these things manifest themselves and parents are coming saying, look, you failed my child. That's why we've already put £1 billion more into SEND provision, that special educational needs provision, and why we've actually put 740 million, so effectively £750 million to local authorities, and that's money which is creating new specialist places. So this is not about saving money. Otherwise, we wouldn't be putting £1.75 billion in there. It's about supporting families at the right time, which is right at the start, preschool, nursery, making sure that actually the problems that do happen and develop now aren't going to happen in the future. That's where eventually there may well be a saving, because we won't need that provision. And that's what every parent wants. They want to know that their child is not going to end up needing that provision.
Well, apparently, just in England alone, ladies and gents, there's 640,000 children with these certificates. Many of you as well, you'll be having children. You'll be trying to get one of these certifications, and you'll be struggling. And that number, of course, is just in England. So the true reflection, of course, will be much greater. Zia Yousef, your thoughts?
Well, the numbers that Barry was just talking about there, £1 billion, £750 million, they pale in comparison to the infinite money tree that the government appears to have for foreign citizens. And this is the problem. It's really difficult to have a serious conversation about, should there be reform around the way SEND children receive the support they need, when that £1 billion and £750 million we talked about, Barry, what about the £5.5 to £7 billion a year being spent on asylum hotels alone for foreign citizens? We're talking about withdrawing benefits for British people, for British SEND children, specifically here. And in the name of saving money, when there is infinite money, I keep going back to the same point over and over, but it's inescapable. It is inescapable. We have not just the £5.5 to £7 billion on asylum hotels, we have the £15 billion a year on foreign aid, the £12 billion on net zero. British people throughout history have had no issue with, making sacrifices for the greater good. And they would be more than happy to consider arguments about the manner and the cost of delivering welfare for British people, if it were not for the fact that there is a disgraceful double standard that goes on, where the border is being left totally open. We have, again, seemingly infinite money for foreign citizens whose first act upon coming to this country is to break our laws, and then they go into free accommodation, they get free healthcare. They get free trips to the circus and to the safari parks and to skate parks. And I mean, you laugh, Barry, but these are facts.
Okay,
and people watching this program, people watching this program, jaws will be on the floor when they hear about the fact that the British government under Labour now want to withdraw benefits from British people, yet they have infinite money for foreign citizens.
Let's establish the facts. Okay, this is not about withdrawing money. As I said, the £1.75 billion is not the total sum that is being spent on SEND. It's actually the additional money that this government has already put in. So you're not comparing like with like there. But look, I'm pleased if what I'm hearing because you haven't criticised this extra provision, you haven't criticised the fact that we are trying to start this early, doing it before kids even get to school with these new Best Start hubs. And, you know, one of the great things that the previous Labour government did was Sure Start. And it got children ready, it prepared them for life, and it also helped parents to do that. And that's what these Best Start hubs are going to do. And now we're in a different generation. We've got AI. We're able to connect parents up through those hubs digitally as well to make sure that all that support is in place. And I would simply say to you, look, don't you think that's the right thing to do, Zia? That here we can support families, support them to make sure that their children don't develop those educational needs, that they're ready for school, ready to start on day one when they go into that primary classroom.
No, I wouldn't, because the auspice upon which all of this is being done, Barry, number one, is being done through the auspice of looking to find savings.
No, it's not.
Because there are enormous amounts of money. Well, they absolutely are, because it's Barry. You've got to be honest here. This is all part of a big attempt from this Labour government, led by Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves, to reduce the amount of money, or specifically, actually, reduce the growth rate in welfare spending in this country, which both have basically said is out of control. Now, clearly, Keir Starmer is losing that argument, as we've seen, which is why we saw, somewhat tragically, the Chancellor of Exchequer of the United Kingdom in tears on the front bench. Clearly, there's turmoil inside the party, but this is my point. So long as British people are being betrayed writ large by this Labour government, there can't be any serious discussion about welfare reform, because everyone in this country is going to turn around and go, well, how come you want to take support away from my child who has a special educational need, when there seems to be infinite money for people, largely young men, coming across the English Channel illegally, Barry?
As I said, it's not taking away support. It's providing £1.75 billion extra for these children. Not only that,
what we're talking about here is taking money away from children in our society and having to take that money away from children because as a government and as a society, we've decided to pursue this kind of open borders-ish experiment where we allow people to come into our country and we, in essence, pay for them for the rest of their life, no matter what they do. And so, you know, some of those people will no doubt go on to work, great, but some of them won't. Or some of them may cost a huge amount of money to the British taxpayer, and at the end of the day, why? And this schism, this fracture line, it's going through the whole of society. Why should British taxpayers have to pay for this? And the answer is not forthcoming. And it can't ever be forthcoming from the Labour Party because, ideologically speaking, they are wedded to it. So they refuse, quite literally refuse to have a debate about it because they already know they've lost the economic argument. And they are fast losing every other argument on the topic as well. Cultural enrichment, economic woes. This just is not working out. And this is one of the reasons why Labour will be voted out at the next election. They're not going to be forgiven for what they've done, not just economically, but the way they are just turning away from any debate or discussion about what's happening is it's a terrible thing, I think. Thanks very much for your time.